We're going to begin the first comparative lesson just to show you how I teach the cards with the Lover's card. So you will see on the left is the Lover's card from the classic deck, the Ryder Waite deck. Now I'll just show you a picture of I'll just show you what the Ryder Waite box looks like. Here we go. This is the classic Ryder Waite deck. This is what most people are asked to buy when they're beginners, and it's a very good beginning deck, but it has a very different philosophy than the opposite deck, which is the Thoth Deck. And I will show you. I don't have my original box from 25 years ago, but I do have the back of the pack, and this is what the cards look like in the back of the Thoth Deck versus, if you take a look here, the back of the Ryder Waite deck. You should recognize that pretty easily if you're buying them online or in a store. So, why am I choosing these two? Well, one deck, the Ryder Waite, is based very much in, let's say, Christian values, even though it's a tarot. And that means that very often the deck will show imagery that is based on sort of biblical or Christian ideas, Christian imagery, things that you'll recognize from the Bible. And also, the Ryder Waite deck will give a sense of the divine power coming from another source outside yourself. Could be God, the universe, but it's definitely a sense of man is here on earth and can access or pray to the powers that be that are often, let's say, heavenly. And this might really resonate with you. It depends on where you're coming from and your background. The other deck, the Thoth Deck here, is designed by somebody completely different. This was someone who studied magic, studied the Kabbalah, someone who would have done, was considered to be a brilliant but eccentric man. And he was somebody very much who you can see through his deck believed in the power of the individual to connect to the universe and to manifest within the universe. His power wasn't God. His power was coming through him from a divine source, from the universe, but it was also his own power to manifest outwardly. So it's a very different philosophy, and it might not be quite clear what I'm getting at until we get into the course and look more deeply at the different cards. But what I will do each week is put out a video of all the cards in the deck, and we're going to compare what the difference is between the Ryder Waite and the Thoth Deck. And you will definitely see that there's a clear philosophical distinction between them. And then you might find that you gravitate more towards one than the other, and it'll help you choose which deck is the right one for you. Also, if you have your own deck that's neither of these two, you can lay them down beside, and it'll give you really good consideration in comparison to where your deck is, if it's more towards the Ryder side or if it's more towards the cosmic. But these are really, in my opinion, the two extremes of philosophy within the tarot, and most things fall somewhere in between, and most are based on the Ryder Waite. So let's look at the Lover's card just for a first introductory little quick lesson here to show you. The Lovers, of course, most people think, oh, you pulled the Lovers, I'm gonna fall in love, I'm gonna meet somebody. And it very much can mean that, but it isn't just romance. The Lovers is really, in essence, showing a union of opposites. It's showing a partnership or a duality. And that can be romance, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes it can just be friends, business partners. And the state of the relationship that the Lover's card shows sort of tells us where that relationship is at For example, let's take a look at the Ryder Waite now closer. As you can see, very biblical, you have Adam here. They're both naked before God or before an angel. He is standing beside a tree. The tree looks to be from the fall. I will do some research. You'll get more research from me as we go along. I will research what these plants and trees are, what these mountains mean, which angels they are. That's all part of the course. But for now, just to show you, Adam is standing naked before a tree that looks like it's in the fall. They've got green grass between them. They've got a quite steep mountain sort of peak that seems to divide them. Then you have the Eve character, who also classically has the snake coiled around the tree. It's an apple tree, the apple that she bit into, seduced by or convinced by the snake, that basically made them both aware that they were naked in the Garden of Eden and their innocence was lost, and the beginning of sin, if you look at the biblical. Then you have the angel above them, or we don't know if it's God, if it's an angel, but the angel has these red feathered wings. Red is usually a color for passion, sometimes for anger, but usually passion. And it's wearing sort of gray robes and a gray cloud that also hides the lower body of, we don't know where this angel appeared from, and also seems to put a cloud in between the two people, right around the level of their hearts and minds. We also see the sun shining behind them. And the hands of the angel are both wide open, almost looking like, is the angel bringing them together? Are they keeping them separate for now? Are they blessing them? But because of this iconography on the lover's card here, there's no guarantee of a love relationship. This is basically the beginning, the innocence moment. There's a lot of doubt in the air. There's a lot of doubt whether they're going to get together or be compatible or not. Now, if you think of your tarot books and you memorize meanings from the books, sometimes you can give a very accurate reading from memorizing the academic side of what the cards are supposed to mean. But I'm here to teach you to read intuitively and on a different level, so I want you to feel what the cards are as well as what the book says. So, in my opinion, this lover's card, the Ryder Waite, does not have the feeling of a love relationship. It has the feeling of a first meeting. Who knows where it's going to go? And I would ask also, when people ask the questions, I would guide you, and we'll do this in my class, the online classes. You'll be guided with multiple types of questions that could be asked to you. And if that card is pulled when it's regarding love, when it's regarding health, when it's regarding money, when it's regarding moving house, and the lover shows up in all these different contexts, that's when it gets trickier. That's when the book versions will often let you down. If someone says, should I sell my house? And you pull the lovers and it says, well, it's supposed to be a love relationship, so I don't know. Well, there's ways of interpreting all of the cards if you use your intuition. And we would take a look at which figure in the card seems to represent you, which one represents the seller, what part of the card represents the house. And then you start to see a deeper context. And trust me, if you're willing to do this and open your intuition as you read your cards, you're going to find them amazing. And often you don't need to have tons of cards to have your answers. Sometimes one card is enough. Let's move on now to how Mr. Crawley, Aleister Crowley, would look at the Thoth Deck and the Lover's card. Now look how different this is. As you can see, you still have a figure, a man and a woman. But now they're wearing long robes, they're wearing ermine, their fur, suggesting a lot of status, suggesting a wedding or a ceremony or something important. You have them holding hands, very likely exchanging vows. You have a child and another child. Dark, dark, light, and light. So you have all these dualities and opposites. Each child is holding something some sort of gift, or we'll take a look what those mean. And then you have also these animals that are in attending or witnessing. We'll also take a look at what these different animals mean. You have an egg here with a snake coiled around it at the bottom, which is very often a powerful symbol for fertility and rebirth. You have these figures up top here, which also can be interpreted in many different ways, but they're sort of standing also, potentially bearing witness. And then you have the priest figure, or the angel. You can sort of see him here. Here's the beard, the hands, the head, and the robe in purple. And you can see that this priest or angel seems to be more almost casting a spell or putting energy, putting an energetic force field around the couple, and could be marrying them, or could be blessing them or initiating them. And then we have a Cupid at the top here. The Cupid is blindfolded and its arrow is missing. It's missing everybody. So it's very interesting to go deeper into this card, right? You can see already how much more complex it is. First of all, if this is a relationship issue, we now see, if you really trust your gut versus the book meaning on this card, that this is already a commitment. This one isn't. This one is like, I just met you. I'm not sure if I like you or I should trust you yet. This is like, I'm putting the ring on your finger. We're starting a new life together. So even if it was the house question, should I sell my house? And this Lover's card comes up. Now how different is that? Now there's maybe some action has happened. Maybe there's a buyer. Maybe there's papers being signed. Maybe there's a partnership with a good agent. Things have progressed much more in this Lover's card. And also with the Crawley deck, with the Thoth deck, you're going to see at the bottom, and I will go into this in each lesson as well, there is astrology. There's the Gemini sign here. There is Hebrew. There's Kabbalah on these cards. Now, I am not a Kabbalist. I don't know my tree of life well enough to tell you, but I will definitely include the symbols that are given on the major arcana, and I'll tell you what they correspond to, and that'll be part of the lesson as well. The main thing also, number 6. Sixes in numerology often relate, ironically, to health and service, not usually love. So it's the Lover's card is much more complex than you realize. And a lot of the cards are more surprising what they actually mean than what you probably have learned just by impressions from, Hollywood movies or whatever, like the death card, stuff like that. So if you find that you are interested in this style of learning and into how to access deeply into the cards with your intuition, then I think I'm the teacher for you, and I hope that you'll join me.